Hello, my name is Diane, and this month I've been reading a lot of Christmas books. I read 10 Christmas fiction books a couple of weeks ago, and then last week I read 7 Christmas mystery books, and today I want to talk about them. The first book I read was A Highland Christmas by M.C. Beaton. This follows the Scottish constable Hamish Macbeth in his Scottish town, solving mysteries around Christmas time. He's got no shortage of work. It starts out with some missing Christmas lights, and eventually he comes to check in on this young girl that lives in the town and also investigate this suspicious old woman. It's sort of just a little follow the constable around while he's working. There's no core giant mystery, but there's a lot of little things that are going on. I liked this. I thought it was fun, kind of low-key sort of mystery where you're solving not super intense things, but maybe we'll uncover something pretty intense. I had a lot of fun with this one. Pretty short read. It's part of the Hamish Macbeth mystery series, so I've never read anything else from that series. I'm not really sure how this fits into the series as a whole, or if it adds anything extra, or if having more background on the series would have made it more enjoyable, but I had a good time with it. It's pretty low stakes sort of Christmas mystery. The next mystery I read is The 12 Deaths of Christmas by Marion Babson, and this follows, partly you follow the murderer who commits 12 seemingly senseless murders leading up to Christmas, and it also follows the people living in this woman's rooming house, and you also get a little glimpse into the police investigating the murders and trying to figure out how they're all related. They all seem like they have nothing to do with each other at first until they start looking at them a little more broadly, and you're kind of looking at these people, the person committing the murders, the people solving the murders, and then the people that are terrified that they may fall victim to this murderer because there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to what's going on. I liked the style of this one, the sort of bouncing around between all the different characters, the police, the murderer, the potential victims. I never felt super into figuring out who it was, and the big reveal at the end was a little wacky to me, but a lot of the times they are, so maybe that's just par for the course. But overall, this one was pretty fun. It's a different type of mystery, at least in my experience. The next mystery I read is A Christmas Escape by Anne Perry, and this follows our main character, Charles Latterly, who, following tragedy, escapes to this island hotel where he thinks he can have a nice, relaxing, sunny getaway for the Christmas season, and he meets the small group of people that are also staying at the hotel who aren't really a pleasant bunch. They're not happy-go-lucky vacationers. So Charles bonds with this teenage girl who lives there, and she's the only really bright person in the whole pack of hotel guests. When one of the guests is attacked, we start wondering who in this house may have reason to hurt him, or if there's someone else on the island with them. There's also a volcano on the island that begins to get pretty worrisome. It's been dormant for quite a while, but it seems like it's not going to be that way for much longer. And I really love the way Anne Perry writes. This is the second Anne Perry Christmas book, and I've loved both of them. It's just a very immersive writing style for me, and I really like that the story starts out with a lot of setup, getting to know everybody, getting to know this island and things like that, and then things start to build and build and build, not only with the character, but also the environment that they're in is also becoming more dangerous, along with the potential danger that the characters are posing. The island is now also posing and probably more dangerous danger. The volcano is also making even more danger than just a potential killer on the loose. So this one was a lot of fun, had a lot of different elements, pretty short read. The next book is The Christmas Mystery by James Patterson and Richard DeLillo. This follows French detective Luc Moncrief. I didn't really like this one. It is very short. I didn't like Luc Moncrief as a character. He's just very arrogant, and the mystery starts out solving stolen paintings, turns murder mystery. They solve the mystery fairly simply, but they solve the mystery about 2/3 of the way through, and then the last third is just they go to Paris and kind of just hang out and do things in Paris. Other things happen. I don't know, maybe if you're familiar with this character you would care more, but I didn't really care once the mystery was solved. There was so much story left and none of it had anything to do with the mystery. So yeah, this one really wasn't for me. The next book is Hercule Poirot's Christmas by Agatha Christie, and this of course follows Hercule Poirot solving another murder. An older man named Simeon Lee invites his 4 children and their spouses to his home to be reunited around Christmas time. It's not exactly a happy reunion, and it also doesn't end well. Simeon Lee is found dead throughout this reunion, and Hercule Poirot is brought in to figure out who could have done this. Everyone potentially has something to gain as his possible heirs, but there was also a change to the will that was recently made, so no one's really sure who would actually benefit from such a sudden loss of Simeon. I've read a few books from this series now. I really like Agatha Christie's writing, and I find it's also very engaging with just a little bit of humor here and there. You get to solve the mystery alongside the characters, but there's also always still that twist at the end that's classic of murder mysteries, where there's that one vital piece of information that maybe you guessed, I never do, but there's always something at the end that ties everything together and really pinpoints who the killer was. And I think Agatha Christie does that really well. The next book is Christmas Carol Murder by Leslie Meyer. This follows a character who is working for the local newspaper. She's also participating in A Christmas Carol, the play. And it starts off sort of as a retelling of A Christmas Carol. The 2 characters that own a insurance company are just old grumpy men who are very greedy, and they make tons of profit off of the people in the town selling them insurance policies. When one of them dies and his ghost supposedly visits the other one to warn him that his demise is also coming soon, our main character begins investigating this first story. This is okay. I really loved the premise of this setup, the modern retelling of A Christmas Carol with more of a murder twist rather than a forewarning to just be a better person. But the delivery really fell flat for me. There's a lot of commentary on social issues, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing to include in a book, but it really felt like that was the focus of this. There's a lot of talk about healthcare and insurance and taxes and homeowners and things like that. And I just feel like that took away from the attention on the murder mystery, like the things that included the character who's meant to be Scrooge. I really liked that part of the story, but it felt like such a small sliver of what was going on, and the majority of it was just the journalist talking to people and learning about the society's issues rather than specifically what happened to the insurance owner. And the last mystery book I read is I'll Be Home for Christmas by Donna Andrews. This follows a main character who owns an inn, and she is hosting her grandfather's owl convention there, or bird convention. I think it's specifically owls. And he's having a convention around Christmas time. They wind up getting snowed in, and one of the attendees at this convention is killed. So they're not only trying to solve the mystery, but they're trying to do it before the storm really breaks and people can leave, because there's, I think, 200 people from all over the world gathered here, and if they let them go, they'll probably never figure out who did it. I thought this was a fun setup and story, but it felt a little too much. There's just a lot of information about owls and random things. Things are a bit over described for my taste, and I feel like if this had been condensed a bit, I would have enjoyed it more, but it just felt like things were taking a really long time. So, while not a bad story and an interesting concept, murder at an owl convention in a snowstorm sounded a little silly. I liked this, but definitely not a new favorite. So those are the 7 Christmas mysteries I read last week. I think it's fair to say that mystery is still not going to become the forefront of what I'm reading. I do like them. There are some gems here and there, but I definitely like a very specific style of mystery telling and solving. I definitely prefer when the mystery is the focus of the story and there's little to nothing outside of that, unless it's just adding to the suspense of that specific mystery. But if you like mystery in general more than I do, maybe there's something on this list that'll work better for you. For me, a lot of these were just okay, with the exception, of course, of Agatha Christie and Anne Perry, who I'm going to keep reading going forward. I think they're going to be my go-to gals for mysteries. So that's all for me today. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!